Hello there and welcome to Inkquiring Minds. My name is Doug and I'm back with a short update on my review of the Asvine C80. You can see that review by clicking right up there. In that review, I had difficulty getting this 1.1 stub to write. I have since solved the issue with the help from you viewers and from Britam, or Jack, and Chiming Lee, Sally, from Asvine. The nib just refused to write properly right out of the box unless I dipped it in the ink. When I did the writing sample, it would flow when dipped and then stop after the ink on the nib dried up. I had eyedroppered the pen with J. Urbain Stormy Gray, which has a gold shimmer to it. I swapped the nib with the medium nib in my Asvine C2000, and it wrote beautifully after that, even with the shimmering ink. I got a lot of feedback from viewers letting me know that the nib wasn't seated properly in the nib unit. And I got an email from both Jack and Sally expressing the same concern. So here's the skinny on it. First, before I review any pen, I'll run some soapy water through the nib and feed, and then rinse it with clear water and dry it before filling with ink. That will remove any remnants of machine oil from the manufacturing process that might inhibit ink flow. I did not remove the nib unit from the pen. I filled it with ink and it refused to write. Usually when I have ink flow issues, I'll switch inks immediately to a well-behaved ink like Konpeki or Serenity Blue. I forgot that principle this time and took the nib and feed apart to widen the ink channel on the feed. And when I reinserted the nib into the nib unit, it was still not fully seated, even though I had pressed it very hard. I had the same flow issues and swapped the nib unit with the medium from the C2000. When I got the letters from Jack and Sally, I removed the J. Urbain Stormy Gray and cleaned the pen out completely. I reseated the nib in the nib unit and filled the pen with a non-shimmering ink, Graf von Faber-Castell Hazelnut Brown. Nice wet ink. Plus I only used the included converter. And now the nib writes beautifully, smooth and wet. My conclusions are as follows. First, the nib wasn't fully seated when I received it from Asvine. Second, I filled the pen with a shimmering ink. I like to use shimmering inks with broad nibs and stubs because the thick lines show off the shimmer of the ink. Third, the combination of the shimmering ink and the not fully set nib caused the failure of the nib to write. It has to be a combination because when I reseated the nib with the shimmering ink, the nib still would not write consistently. It was only when I switched inks that the nib had no issues at all with ink flow and is very smooth and wet. Finally, and what is most wonderful about this issue, is the response from Asvine. Now you might say that the only reason I'm getting a response from Asvine even without contacting them first is because I have 21,000 viewers and they are concerned about negative publicity affecting their sales. But I look at it differently. What it says to me is that Asvine is paying attention to social media and reacting to their customers' experiences. Do you think Visconti or Pilot watches or even cares about their customer experiences? It's not my experience anyway. To me, this means that Asvine cares about their customers' experiences with their products. And it also tells me that I need to keep purchasing products from Sally on Etsy at Easy Buy or on Amazon at the Asvine store because there is an actual human being on the other end of that email. If you send a note to Sally at either Amazon or Etsy, you know that a human is reading it and responding to it. How many companies can you say that about today? I know that I had a frustrating 6-month-long circular conversation with what I'm convinced was an AI bot at Mary's stationery store on AliExpress, just trying to get a $4 refund for their 2 unsuccessful attempts to send me a Mad John B25. I never got the refund, by the way, and they're still asking me, would you like to buy something else from us? The bot just kept telling me how sorry it was to hear that. So thanks go out to Jack and Sally of Asvine for their support and their obvious concern about the quality of their products. Not all Chinese manufacturers even care that you exist. So kudos to Asvine. I love my Asvine C80 in this gorgeous gold and black acrylic. If you have issues with your number 8 size 1.1 stub, check your ink. They don't seem to like shimmering ink at all. For me, I think I'm going to swap this back to the gold medium from the C2000 because I just love the look of that gold nib with this gold acrylic. But I might have to buy another C80. And you guessed it, it would be in Galaxy Blue this time. And there you have it. Thanks for watching.
I made this.